I was at the gym listening to these episodes, and it is not great motivation. It made the steam room afterwards a very unique experience, wondering if people could tell what was going on.
So many possible worlds, but we got this one. So many possible worlds, but we got this one.
Welcome to the Worst of All Possible Worlds, the first and only podcast that you can listen to while lifting. I'm the worst of all possible Bryans.
I'm the worst of all possible AJs.
And I'm the worst of all possible Joshes. And this week, we are joined for another episode of Whit's Endless Summer, the ongoing subseries of the Worst of All Possible Worlds, in which we listen to episodes of the children's radio drama Adventures in Odyssey, created by Focus on the Family. We're joined by a guest who has been with us before for Whit's Endless Summer, a returning champion, the co-host of the fantastic podcast, I Hate James Dobson. Jake, welcome back to the show.
Hello, thank you. I'm very glad to be here.
To actually talk about episodes of Adventures in Odyssey this time.
That's right.
Instead of just Ted Bundy.
And I'm trying to remember, did we talk about, when you came on, because we talked, last time we talked, you came on to talk about the James Dobson, Ted Bundy interview, and we did not actually listen to any Adventures in Odyssey episodes.
That's correct.
But you did grow up listening to Odyssey, right?
The Green Ring Conspiracy is when I stopped.
I have listened to that for the sake of this show, which we haven't gotten to it yet, but that is just such ass.
It's not good.
Well, Brian, you pulled together some episodes for us this week. What was the idea behind this specific set?
I mean, my going title was Whit Gets Sexist, because we've done Whit Gets Racist or whatever. AJ actually picks the real title, so it's called something else that I've chosen to forget. And
Say anything.
I've forgotten it again. Wonderful. No, that one's actually good. I wanted to look at both the way that sexism is explored in the world of Odyssey, the way that we can see some of the politics actually peeking through in a way that they haven't for a while, because we can see how scared they are of Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
And I wanted to talk to a therapist about the nature of counseling and relationship counseling, which comes up in these 5 episodes.
It felt very pointed, like, oh yeah, couples therapist. Okay, I'm tracking.
How would you describe going back and listening to this now?
I listened to it most recently, not that long ago, because on I Hate James Dobson, we did an episode on Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes!
And so I re-listened to Castles and Cauldrons.
Of course.
But other than that, it had been like over a decade and jarring. The audio production is a lot better than I remember, and the storytelling is a lot worse.
Yep.
Well, no, but I mean, we have such flawless storytelling in this first 3.
Don't get me fucking started.
Well, we have to get you started because that's the show. Yeah, this is a really ambitious script for Paul McCusker, because this 3-parter is called For Whom the Wedding Bells Toll.
I ask not for whom they told, but I have to find out anyway. And I don't forgive you for this one, Brian.
Yes, they toll for thee because thou art married, Josh.
Oh, fuck.
Congratulations.
Yes, congrats. We were originally going to do this trilogy earlier this year.
Oh, yeah.
So this was...
Yeah, back in March, and then there were some setbacks, mostly due to my mental health.
Here's the thing, though. This is our second time going through this trilogy of episodes. And I cannot stress enough how much better these go down when played at 1.5 speed.
Yeah, it's very funny. I had to pull open one of my previous notebooks and find my notes for this and try to sort of uncover what it was that I was thinking when I looked at these episodes before. And this was not just a trilogy. This was the centerpiece of one of the albums.
Oh, okay.
Right. So like there was The Search for Whit, which ends with the 3-parter, The Search for Whit, where they search for Whit and
find him.
Well, he finds them anyway. The next album is Welcome Home, right? And Welcome Home is centered around Whit coming back to Odyssey. And then album 29 is Signed, Sealed, and Committed, which the whole album art is them or at least the old album art, I don't know what it is now, is them like in the cathedral as 2 people are about to get married. Who knows? We'll have to sit through 3 episodes to find out.
This episode starts with Connie, our plucky teen, picking Jason Whittaker, who's Whit's son, up from the airport. And he's recently been touring the world. And Connie basically fills him in on the details of what's happened since he left town.
For instance, what's this important lunch that kept him from picking me up today?
Margaret Faye.
Who?
He didn't even tell you about Margaret? Wow. Didn't he tell you anything? About Eugene and Katrina?
Katrina?
Jack and Joanne?
Joanne Woodston?
The antique shop? Margaret?
Connie?
The wedding?
Wedding? Somebody's getting married?
Day after tomorrow. You got back just in time for it.
I am so confused. Who is getting married? Connie?
It's funny. For once, I know something you don't know.
That framing, you just heard that small clip, which would have gotten us done and dusted. But somehow that scene takes 3 minutes. I don't know how.
Every scene in this is very, very long. It's like McCusker did an outline of his story and was like, okay, this is probably a 3-parter. And then he, split his outline up into 3 parts, sat down to write part of his outline and was like, well, this was 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yep. I just need to extend everything.
Above McCusker's station, I believe, carved into a fine piece of birchwood is the phrase, first draft, best draft.
He is a craftsman, AJ. How dare you?
I know, he made that wood thing.
Exactly.
The regular Nick Offerman.
Yeah, his craft is woodworking, not writing.
Yeah, Jesus. I will also say that this is actually pretty much verbatim the setup for the 1000th episode of Odyssey. This is somebody
That's
knows
true.
something that nobody else knows and refuses to tell them for reasons.
I was so invested in Eugene as a character so far. And I was like, it's got to be, I put money on it being Eugene. It's my boy.
And he wouldn't get married for another 8 years.
Yeah, spoiler alert, it's not Eugene.
Because if you remember last time we saw Eugene, he was getting cucked by Brandon.
That's right.
Yeah.
The perfidious Brandon. Yeah. And we're going to hear a bit more about the status of Brandon in a little bit. It turns out that he lets went. But Jack, meanwhile, Jack Allen, Whit's childhood friend who briefly came in as sort of a surrogate grandfatherly figure while Whit was out of town.
Yeah.
Well, basically the writers kind of had to figure out what to do with Jack. And this episode is part of figuring out what Jack's journey is actually going to be.
Because when Whit came back to Odyssey, his encyclopedia company / foreign missions board / NSA front
/ money laundering.
Yep.
/ money laundering was like, hey, we need to send you out to the field again. And he's like, oh, I don't know. And then Joanne Woodston, this lady who's been played by an actor who's been on the show many times before, Janet Waldo, who you might know as previously playing Lawrence's mom.
Oh,
the one
shit.
who defeated the woke school curriculum.
Right.
Yeah.
And you might also know her as Judy Jetson.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So she comes into town from Chicago, talks about how much she loves deep dish pizza, and then Jack immediately falls for her.
Right.
And is like, I want to marry this lady.
But Jack is also at a bit of a crossroads in his own life because if he's going to stay in Odyssey, he has to figure out something to do because he was the manager of Whit's End. But now that Whit's back, he doesn't have anything to actually do. So he's pondering becoming a small business owner. He's looking into opportunities in the area so that he can purchase a business and become a member of the professional managerial class, essentially.
Yes. He's looking for local hot antique stores in his area.
That's right.
And boy, howdy, does he find one.
Run by a homosexual man.
Yeah.
What? This guy?
It's weird how that always works with these men in this show.
A lot of
But-
gay guys in Odyssey. And I love that in that case, it's Kenneth Mars, who's like a
that is Kenneth
longtime
Mars,
professional
okay.
Bruno's
actor.
father.
And I think he just came in and was like, yeah, this is a gay guy. I'm not going to tell the producers of Adventures in Odyssey that because he doesn't play him stereotypically.
No.
He just is gay
And
in
he-
how he talks.
and he's a
how
little bit of a pervert too. He's got that tone, right? But
everybody who runs an antique shop is a little bit of a pervert.
I know that's right.
Right.
Antiques are antiques, Mr. Allen, whether it's 1950 or 2001. True. Come in then. Let's talk about it over some coffee, though. I must tell you that I'm not the owner of this establishment. I'm only the manager.
For now, we need to talk about what's going on with this Margaret lady that Whit has apparently been hanging out with, right?
Yeah.
And we get a flashback here because this whole 3-parter is going to be Connie telling the story of what happened and occasionally flashing forward to the present day where something interminable is going to happen, like them trying to order fast food.
Yeah, so we end up in this really, really long scene with Jack and Bernard and Whit and Connie. Some of this dialogue is good. The jokes are very weird.
We found out the town has an Augustus Gloop. He's just like sticking his shit hands everywhere.
Not yet. Oh wait, no, I forgot. No, there's two Augustus Gloops in this.
Two Augustus Gloops.
Two Augustus's Gloop.
Because there's the kid who's getting chocolate everywhere, and then there's the large German child who shows up later.
Yes, and they're not the same kid.
They're
Who
two
dunks his
different
face
kids.
in the punch bowl. Yeah.
We have this long dialogue scene going on with a very weird rhythm to it, and then Tom Riley comes in and introduces his friend to everybody.
Well, the gang's all here. Hi there.
Hey, Tom, how are you?
Good seeing you. Listen, I'd like you all to meet Margaret Faye. Margaret, this is Whit, Jack, Connie, and Bernard.
Oh, it's nice to meet all of you.
Nice to meet you, too. I think I've seen you at the local business guild meetings.
Oh, that's quite likely. I do attend those meetings when I can.
Margaret's what you might call a behind-the-scenes player around Odyssey. Invests in a lot of businesses and things like that. But she's thinking of coming out from behind the curtain, so to speak. Since I'm not going to run for mayor again, Margaret's considering becoming a candidate.
Oh, no kidding.
I like how non-committal there. Oh, that's great. So Margaret Faye is played by Alexandra Kenworthy. If you look her up, she was doing anime dubs going all the way back to 1978 with Ringing Bell.
Wow.
So she is one of our oldest like anime dubbers, and she's in all kinds of like really bad dubs, like the original dubs of Totoro and Kiki's Delivery Service. She was in Robotech. She was in Wicked City. She was also a voice in Battle Chess.
The video game?
Yes.
Like the old PC game Battle Chess? That's crazy.
I'm really sad that's not an anime. I'm really
sad.
sad.
She did a ton of old visual novels as well.
Okay.
So she was like this sort of ground floor voice actor, and I can see why. She has a gorgeous, velvety voice.
Yeah.
She's great. Yeah. And especially for this character, you can hear the pantsuit.
I mean, with the most love and respect, she sounds like a real bitch.
Yeah.
She's my favorite. I have so many notes about like, she has a good point. She's right here.
Yep.
I would vote for her.
I mean, she wants to basically dismantle the cabal of old white men that control Odyssey. And she's the bad guy.
Because that cabal's not real.
It's not real, AJ.
She's just hysterical.
Exactly.
I see. Despite this cabal spreading its influence to antique stores.
Well, and one example of how she is sort of a bitch on wheels is that she makes her moves brashly and unapologetically. And her very first move is to hit on Whit.
Let's go.
I was wondering if you'd be so kind as to have a meal with me. Say dinner. You're a well-respected citizen, and I'd like to talk to you about the future of Odyssey.
Oh, well, the honor would be mine.
Are you free tonight?
Tonight? Well, sure, I think so.
Good, I'll pick you up at 7.
Yeah, okay, 7.
It's a date, then. See you tonight. Thank you for the introduction, Tom. It's nice to meet you all. Good day.
Good day.
Bye. Nice meeting you.
Yeah.
It's a date then. Whew.
Hey, she doesn't waste any time, does she? 30 seconds and she's got a date with Whit.
Oh, it's not a date.
Margaret's a woman who knows what she wants, and she generally gets it.
No kidding.
Whit just got femdomed.
Yep. He has never been harder in his life than at the end of that scene.
Absolutely.
The thing is, like, the writing knows that. Margaret Faye ends up being a reprehensible character in the worldview of this show, but, you know, Whit never does anything wrong. And the fact that he is okay going on a date with a woman who asks him, I think is really interesting in terms of the ideology being held by the writers of the show. It doesn't always look like the stereotype that people have.
Mm-hmm. And the year that this episode was written, well, the month and year, I should say, September 1997. Very interesting time in American politics. And Jake, I know you've covered some stuff that James Dobson was doing around this time, right?
Yes, absolutely. First, I think it's
Was he
important.
getting femdom?
Probably.
Yes. Yes.
There's a weird amount of like in between the lines about his relationship with Shirley that you can read in his books. And as a totality,
Hit me
like
with the girdle.
Yes. He comes back to nipples a weird amount of times.
Really?
Like, not a lot, but like enough that you're like, that's not a coincidence. I should also note, this was before I was born.
Oh, shit.
That's okay. That's okay.
I've turned into a skeleton.
Well, Jake, what do you imagine the world was like at this time for James Dobson then?
Let me tell you, Pokemon the movie, the first movie, comes out in 2 months, Jake.
Come on.
Just in time for my 7th birthday.
I mean, at this point, Dobson was the monolithic cultural figure that we know him to be. He really, in the 80s and especially early 90s, had become ascendant. He'd created all these political organizations. Focus on the family had become the thing that we know it is today, more or less. And so at this point, he's riding high. He's involved in politics. Something that comes up, I forget which episode it is, but generally, I think Whit is kind of a Dobson stand-in by and large.
Sure.
But Whit specifically doesn't endorse anybody in politics.
Yeah.
That's part of like a character, like a moral rule that he has is he doesn't get involved in politics, which is not at all how Dobson was at this time.
And in that episode that Whit says he doesn't endorse anyone, that one was written by Phil Lawler. And Phil Lawler's politics are just extremely down the middle, garden variety Facebook grandpa who loves Donald Trump, you know?
My question is, like, in terms of the writing staff's relationship with Dobson, has it soured at this point?
I think it's complicated. They didn't like it when Dobson did his micromanaging, like when he made them get rid of the dumb cop character.
But that was a while ago.
That was a while ago. I don't think he micromanaged in 1997 the way he did earlier. You know, we don't have topical episodes at this point in time like, you know, we did with Dungeons and Dragons. They have the freedom to do what they want. I mean, when Dobson died, again, going back to Phil Lawler, because he's the only one of these people who's like super online. You can see Phil Lawler's in memoriam of James Dobson over on his Facebook, and he's effusive. He loves James Dobson.
Can't relate.
I will say this as well. This is 2 years now before Dobson officially announced the transition plan for Focus on the Family Leadership. That would happen in 1999.
Right.
And the idea there was not, I'm going to be gone in 10 years, although that's what ended up happening. The idea was, okay, here's a plan that we can execute once it's time for me to move on and find a successor. But I think little did he know, there were already quite a few people who were looking to make moves on the throne.
This was also 3 years before Pokemon the movie 2000.
That's true.
Dobson's favorite Pokemon movie.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. Well, he and Herman Cain used to watch it together all the time.
Well, after my husband died, I went through a period of grief, as you'd expect. It was difficult for me. I had relied on him so very much. And then one day I decided it was foolish to depend upon a man as much as I had, to make him the center of my existence. Where did it leave me? So I used the money we'd made to invest in businesses around Odyssey. I became aggressive in my dealings. You know, men are still terribly uncomfortable with a woman who knows how to make money. Are you uncomfortable, Whit?
Me? Oh, no, not at all.
Want to be?
I mean, not with you being a woman. I'm only uncomfortable when anyone, man or woman, makes money the center of their lives.
Oh, don't tell me you're one of those Christians who's against wealth.
I'm not against wealth.
No, he's not.
The wealthy remember that their money belongs to God.
First point is Margaret sort of shirking the idea of male headship. She doesn't want a man, as she puts it, to be the center of her world, the center of her life. And this is one thing that already is going to make listeners of this show go, uh-oh. Mm-hmm. The other thing, of course, is the bit about wealth and relationship with wealth, what it should look like.
It sounds like after her husband passed away, she was left reeling, and as a way to kind of create a sense of resiliency and independence, that she decided to go out and do things for herself. And I don't think that's particularly controversial. I can also like the tone of the episode is like, this lady,
right?
You see her, defying male authority. How dare she? I think the connection between the two is interesting, though. The way that she defies male authority largely is through becoming wealthy.
Yes,
and the intersection of that is never remarked on, but it's also very much like, well, you're being greedy with authority, being greedy with money. You're just this like power hungry, money hungry woman.
It also poses the question: what would happen if Bill Clinton was dead? Which is a thing that they wanted to ask for a long time. If she is the Hillary Clinton stand-in, like what would Hillary be unleashed and it's this.
Right. And they were all worried that Bill was going to get out of office and she was immediately going to run. Right. If you remember from the Blair Witch Project episode, I found that website where someone had made the Blair Hillary Project. And it was this whole like comic that running away from little stick people made out of Hillary 2000 bumper stickers. And I think it does kind of have the number of liberalism in the 90s, though, where it's like, oh, yeah, we're making strides in feminism, in racial equality by having or further empowering wealthy people who kind of only sit at one intersection of race or gender or whatever, but they're wealthy. If they're a woman, they're white. The electing firsts, getting a first in there, and then boom, we've solved it.
Well, it's not dissimilar from the shortcomings of aspects of the queer rights movement that got us to like gay marriage, but that was the end of it, you know, in a lot of ways, where it just doesn't account for the other intersectionalities. But obviously for these people, for fucking Phil Lawler, Paul McCusker, rather, writing this
for
thing.
both of them, yeah.
Or both of them. The very idea of intersectionality is probably beyond the pale, I would say. They're probably not even thinking about it because that's all just like lib shit, basically. That's the clown world, right?
Well, that's the thing is like, you know, the right loves to play the sort of like party of the working class thing. And it's mostly like about your relationship to the coasts. If you're close to the coast, you are rich and you're liberal. If you are far from the coasts, you are working class and conservative, even if you have $10 million and you live in a giant fucking ranch or something. I think that's a little bit of what they're putting in here is like, well, Margaret thinks about business and wealth over everything else. Whit is also extremely rich, but it just sort of happened.
Yeah.
You know, he was working as a school teacher and then struck oil in his classroom. Yeah. He's a regular Jed Clampett type, you know?
The Beverly Whitbillies.
That's true.
That's going to be the title of a future episode.
And out from the bookshelf out from the pencil sharpener came a bubbling crude? I don't know.
I think bookshelf was probably better. I don't know why you came up with a worse idea.
I don't know.
It is funny. The image is very funny that he goes to like take a book off the shelf and it's just like
just
sprayed against
right
the
in the
wall
face.
by this like
and for some reason
oil.
he has the mineral rights to his classroom.
Why did I ever want to do this?
Get it all in your mouth.
So Whit is a bit taken aback by this extremely aggressive woman, right?
Yeah.
And he just really doesn't understand why she wants to run for mayor.
I'm a Christian, and I think God has given me a gift for making money. It's a talent. I'm not afraid of it. And I use my money for God when I can, just as I'd like to use my leadership skills for him.
As mayor, you mean?
Yes.
Well, why as mayor, if I may ask?
I don't follow you.
Well, you could use your leadership skills in a lot of ways for God. Why does it have to be as mayor, the highest position in town?
Well, why not?
Do you think God is calling you to be mayor? Is that your motive?
I suppose he is. Do I have to be called by God in everything I do?
Sure. Wouldn't you want to act within his will?
I think by using my talents, I am acting within his will.
Okay, so this is interesting, right?
Yeah.
I think that for people who are outside of this world, it is almost impossible to understand what is going on here rhetorically.
It's a version of not real Christians, right? Like, yeah, you'll go to church. She talks about like the church believes in the Bible, like kind of.
Yeah.
The churches I grew up in would call her a lukewarm Christian. Like, yeah. And God will spit you out of his mouth because you'd either prefer you be hot or cold, either love him or hate him. But this like middle ground, like putting on the aesthetics of Christianity, but not really doing anything with it. This is really like, this is more offensive than Bart Rathbone in the next episodes we're going to talk about, the like huckster,
right,
like mean guy. Like, yeah, he's a distasteful character, but she's a villain.
Yeah. This scene has like the fraughtness of a scene in Inglourious Bastards, right?
Yeah.
Like this is the card playing scene.
But it's so weird because again, like if you don't understand the ideological priors going into the scene, everything she is saying sounds very sensible. And I imagine somebody looking at this from the outside would be like, well, what are you talking about? She's also a Christian, and it sounds like holding to some of the principles of the prosperity gospel, which is directly adjacent to focus on the family ideology, right?
I think Paul McCusker is trying to write a three-dimensional character, and he is also trying to write like a dialogue, right? He's trying to
be Socratic with it.
Yeah, he's trying to be G.K. Chesterton and like explore an idea about different forms of Christianity. I just don't think that this fits in the mouth of a lib.
Right.
Like this is not a conversation where like the liberal Christians are like, it's okay to be rich and Christian, and then the right wingers are like, no, absolutely not. You know, it's the defenses of wealth. You see, I mean, I went to a Southern Baptist church, and like a large portion of the congregation that I went to in Gallup, New Mexico, a very poor place, were millionaires, were the owners of the trading posts in town. You know, this is already off balance. We already know that we're supposed to be kind of suspicious of her. And also, again, McCusker is not going down the route of like, she is bad because she's a woman who is in business. She is a woman who works. Like, that is not totally dismissed outright, but it is funny that Whit's first idea, Whit, who uses business for all of his forms of witness, is like, you should be at a soup kitchen.
It's interesting you said Paul McCusker is trying to create a three-dimensional character here, because that is ultimately the biggest tragedy of his writing, which is that he's trying to create three-dimensional characters within propaganda, which requires two-dimensional characters.
Yeah, it has to flatten out by the end.
Now with the date having happened, Bernard and Tom stop by Whit's End because they want to know what went down. Whit notes that they basically fought the whole time, and he was like, yeah, no, there's not going to be a second date. Yeah. It sucks.
But also,
it's over.
He's like falling for her. And this is something McCusker can't quite totally
he is excited
pull off,
about
is that
it.
that scene where they're debating each other is also supposed to be Benedict and Beatrice to some degree.
Sure, yeah.
Part of the problem, though, I think, is that because it is a children's show, you can't portray people being horny.
I mean, this show is horny. It just doesn't know that it's horny.
Yeah. He could be, you know, but they could write him like becoming smitten with her because they start going out on more dates. And he's like, I don't know why I keep going out with her, but I like her. And I don't really think of them as dates. They're like social engagement. So this is like, if they were to get married, which is, of course, the end goal of all relationships.
Sure.
Two friends who become married. They even say that explicitly a little bit later.
Well, and you know, you've got that bit of that dynamic right here in this next clip where Margaret basically comes right in and is like, that was fucking awesome.
Whit, I think you're fascinating.
I beg your pardon?
I can't think of the last time I enjoyed an evening as much as last night.
Oh, you're kidding. We argued all night.
I know, and it was wonderful. I rarely meet
She's
my
doing
match
all
when
the
it comes
work
to
here.
Debate, and you are that. You're insightful and perceptive, intelligent. I've heard good things about you, but I wasn't prepared for them to be better than true.
Oh, well, thank you.
Oh, you're blushing. I'm sorry. I've embarrassed you.
Well, you're so direct in your comments that it's hard to know how to react.
The Connellsville Art Museum is opening an exhibition of some little-known works by Renoir this afternoon. Will you go with me?
Well,
I'd be grateful.
I also think McCusker was maybe watching a lot of Frasier, because this is like how an episode of Frasier starts to play out. Is like, oh, and then we went to the opera and then to the art gallery.
Yeah, there's a lot of signaling of worldliness here, right?
Yeah,
Connellsville in this, which is the larger city that Odyssey is an exurb of, basically, is always portrayed as being like the city of hookers and jazz.
Not as much as Chicago, but like, I don't know, because this is also a thing that Whit does and likes to do and would be doing anyway, even without Margaret Faye.
Yeah, actually, Whit is a huge fan of the arts. I have a quote here from him talking about his favorite musical. This is from the New York Times. Whit also offered an exceptionally curious review of the Feline Songfest, telling his newly appointed board that he didn't like the musical at first glance and thought to get out when he saw dancers laid down across the stage.
Wait a minute.
After taking a closer look, he said he changed his mind. I walked in, I saw all these bodies, and then I noticed those bodies were gorgeous. They had silk tights on, and they were all ballerinas and women from Broadway. And men. He immediately clarified he didn't find the men's bodies, quote, as attractive, to be honest. Whit has been known to play Memory from the musical at his rallies.
Right.
That was, okay, that you got me.
And Whit really loves Betty Buckley, too, right?
Yeah.
Huge fan. Huge fan, especially after the stroke. So...
The worst thing that you can say about Cats is that it's Trump's favorite musical. There's a lot of bad things you can say about Cats. That's the worst thing.
It really is.
So how does that feel, AJ? Knowing that you have a favorite musical in common with Donald Trump.
I did not say favorite. I never said favorite.
Yeah, you didn't, but we know.
You implied it. But yeah,
look,
I mean,
I like the men's bodies across the stage. What do you want me to say?
Good for you. Good for you. Whit and Margaret do start, as Brian, you were saying, they keep going and they keep doing stuff together. And eventually, after an entire summer of them hanging out, the boys plus Connie, they just want to get the dirt from Whit about what is going on.
Do you think they're getting serious?
I couldn't say.
Oh, sure you could. We're all friends here.
I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen him that much lately. I've been so busy with my search for a shop to buy that we just haven't had time to talk. In fact, I only met Margaret once. That first morning she came in.
Yeah, well, now that's another thing. We never see her. If I were dating someone, I'd make sure my friends got to know her, now wouldn't you?
Not me. When I was growing up, my friends always stole my girlfriends away.
That's terrible.
How do you think Whit met Jenny?
Whoa!
Are they really dating?
Everybody get up!
So many possible.
Hey there, you are listening to a preview of a premium episode of The Worst of All Possible Worlds. If you'd like to listen to the rest of this, head on over to our Patreon. That's patreon.com/worstofall. And you can listen to not only the rest of this episode, but our entire backlog of premium episodes, bonus episodes, and if you subscribe at the $10 tier, you will get an extra episode of the podcast every single month. Again, that is patreon.com/worstofall. Hope to see you there.